of bridging the electricity access gap in the country. We have quite a huge mandate. Nigeria as a country, Your Excellency, has the highest number of people that are without electricity or unreliable supply of electricity. Based on the World Bank figures, there are about 86 million Nigerians without access or unreliable supply. This is as much as the total population of many European countries. So the Rural Electrification Agency is mandated to bridge that electricity access gap. And we do that, Your Excellency, by leveraging on the renewable energy that is abundant in the country. And we also adopted the methodology of distributed renewable energy to bridge that gap. What that means, Your Excellency, is that rather than continuously extending the grid, which is quite expensive, we adopted the approach of going to communities, developed the mini grid, what that is the electrification generation plant within the community, build distribution line, and connect it with the communities. That is the approach that we adopted. And Your Excellency, we have different methodology of addressing this challenge. There is a private sector oriented methodology. There is the public-private partnership methodology, and there is the engineering, procurement, construction methodology. And I'm happy to say that, Your Excellency, under the leadership of Mr. President, Nigeria had designed, approved, and secured the biggest public sector funding in the entire world, meant for addressing this electricity access gap. A total of $750 million was secured, approved, and given to Rural Electrification Agency for this. This $750 million is supposed to also crystallize a private sector funding of about 1.1 billion. We intend to use this total money to deploy 1,350 mini grid across the country, of which 250 of them are going to be interconnected mini grids. 1,100 are going to be isolated mini grids. And we also intend to use that funding to deploy over 12 million solar home systems across the country. So one of the essence of coming to pay this homage, Your Excellency, is to get to inform the state of this huge opportunity. The Rural Electrification Agency is one government agency that we are not scared to say that we have funding. What we need is good partnership with the subnational and the creation of an enabling environment for us to deploy this laudable federal government project. Now, the fact that this funding is built around the private sector, so there is need for the private sector to be aware of the potentials within the river state for them to come in. Because Rural Electrification Agency, we have no right to dictate to the private sector to say that, oh, because the MD is from Kano State, they should go to Kano State. We have no right. The private sector leverage on what we call the National Electrification Strategy and Implementation Plan, a plan whereby we map the entire country for the first time in the history of the country. Through that mapping, we identify all the areas in the country that are without electricity. And we know the number of communities, we know the number of households within the communities, we know the best means of providing the communities with electricity, be it to extend the grid or deploy interconnected mini grid or isolated mini grid or mesh grid or even deploy solar home systems. So we have all this data. So the private sector leverage on those information and decide to go to any state of their choice. So, and for us to create an even enabling ground for all the subnational, because this 750 is a sovereign law. So for each state to equally benefit from it, we organize state-by-state roundtable, where we bring the officials of the state, the private sector, and us, and give the opportunity to the state to tell the private sector why they should come to that state, and also give an opportunity to the private sector to tell the state official what are their experience in operating within the state. Is it security? Is it issue of getting land? Is it things to do with permit and approval? Is it issue with bureaucratic process? So they get that opportunity and tell the state official their own pain point. And we get to address that issue so that this private sector can come and take this funding from us and move to that particular state. So that is one. The second one, Your Excellency, is the PPP arrangement. We designed one of the most noble projects in the country that we call eHeart. E and Heart. The eHeart is an acronym that stands for Energizing Health, Education, Agriculture, Rural Communities, and Transportation via e-mobility. This is a PPP arrangement where Rural Electrification Agency provides 60% funding for that. States provide 30% and the private sector provides 10%. We also have mapped communities that meet our criteria. That is the communities that have functional primary health care unit, functional either secondary, primary, or technical education, functional agricultural clusters or hub, and a very good transportation network. So this community, we identify them, and we are going to write to the Port Harcourt, to River State, those communities that we identified for authentication. So this is also an opportunity to partner with us, but in this regard, it's going to be a PPP. The state has to provide 30% of that funding. In fact, Your Excellency, just for avoidance of doubt, just on Monday, I received the letter from the Ebonyi State Governor committing their counterpart funding to the total sum of 3.8 billion for this project, the eHeart project. And the project is to be administered with the state. So the state creates a steering committee plus the private sector to make sure that it's been administered. So this is also another opportunity that is there. Thirdly, there are projects that we finance them 100%. And I'm happy to say that River State is one of the major beneficiaries of that project. University of Port Harcourt, we have deployed close to 11 megawatts of hybrid mini-grid, interconnected mini-grid at the university. And this project is about to be completed. We did not just deploy that mini-grid, we built a world-class training center at the university, and we involved 20 female STEM students of the state from ground testing to the commissioning of this project, so that we build talent pipeline of people within the renewable space that will continue to get access to job opportunities in the renewable energy. Then there is also, Your Excellency, the unveiling of the mapping of River State. That during that roundtable we would like to do it. You will be amazed the level of data, Your Excellency, that we have. We know the local government within the River State. We know the communities within the local government. We know the number of houses within the local government, within the communities, and we know the nature of households and the potential that deploying mini-grid can create within this space. So want to unveil that during the state roundtable if we get to have that opportunity. Then lastly, Your Excellency, is to also inform you that the commitment of Mr. President in addressing the electricity access challenge can never be underestimated. For those of us that are following the news, just the recent Federal Executive Council, Mr. President has approved additional 140 something billion for Rural Electrification Agency for our intervention. There is also additional 68 billion that has been approved for us to deploy what we call productive use of equipment. These are solar-based equipment that do not require any access to electricity or generators that we are going to share around all over the country under the productive use initiative of Mr. President. And when the time comes, Your Excellency will definitely approach you in that regard. We also have, lastly, the concept of us, because we are conscious, most of this money that we are spending, the equipment, we tend to import them. So we want to also leverage on the Nigeria First policy, the Mr. President Nigeria First policy, to start to reverse that. So we start to crystallize private sector investment into different subnationals for the manufacturing or assembly of this equipment to be domesticated within the country. When Mr. President came, there was only one photovoltaic panel assembly plant in the country called Oxano, with a capacity of about 100 megawatts. But to date, we are looking at close to 3 gigawatts of capacity. We crystallize LPV in Egbetokun that is producing 150 megawatts. We have crystallized 250 megawatts in Idu in Abuja by JRV, and another one next grid JRV capacity of about 200. And we are in discussion with other companies. In fact, Your Excellency, immediately after this event, we are going back to Abuja to sign a joint development agreement with Budget Office, Federal Ministry of Finance Incorporated, Infracorp, and RDA for the deployment of 1 gigawatt in Calabar. That opportunity, Your Excellency, is also there to tell the private sector during that roundtable why they can come and invest in this assembly or manufacturing Port Harcourt, that we use this renewable to create job opportunities and enhance the GDP of the state. Those are all opportunities available to us. So, Your Excellency, without boring you with too much information, I would like to stop here and indulge for your approval for us to have this roundtable. We normally want to have it either in Lagos or Abuja for easy flight accessibility, because some of these private sectors, they fly out of the country to come into the country. Thank you very much for this opportunity, and we look forward to partnering with Rivers State. Thank you, Your Excellency.
So on behalf of the government and people of Rivers State, I extend our warmest greetings to you and your team here. Certainly, our visit today is timely and significant. It aligns with our administration's commitment to rural transformation, infrastructure, and inclusive economic all parts of the state. The Rural Electrification Agency has over the years demonstrated an unwavering commitment to advancing the agenda, because you have highlighted doing need to do. And so your mandate to promote access to electricity for unserved and underserved communities resonates strongly with the aspirations of this administration under the ongoing emergency governance program. We particularly commend your agency for its work in expanding electricity access to rural households, solutions through innovative and sustainable solutions, deploying the Rural Electrification Fund to support productive off-grid energy projects that drive local economic growth, implementing the Nigerian Electrification Project, which leverages international partnerships to power schools, health, facilities, and critical rural infrastructure. Also for enhancing productive use of energy to stimulate job creation, rural industrialization, and improve livelihood. Certainly, the initiatives are not only improving the lives of millions of Nigerians, but also complement our administration's drive to accelerate rural development across Rivers State. Since assuming office under the directive of His Excellency CFR, our administration has prioritized security, infrastructure, and economic recovery as the pillars of the state's transformation. A critical component of this agenda is rural electrification. It directly impacts education, healthcare delivery, agricultural productivity, and micro enterprise growth. And so, through collaboration with agencies such as yours, and bridge the energy access gaps for rural communities, stimulate small-scale industries, and enable our people to harness new. Happy to note that you already have carried out mapping and survey of the various areas state. But I want to point out that you must consider the unique challenges of providing electricity in riverine areas, which are characterized by difficult. So I'm particularly keen on initiatives that align with our local government and which seeks to make our 23 local government areas hubs of productive activities and sustainable growth. This courtesy visit provides a unique opportunity, therefore, for us as the agency to strengthen collaboration in implement of off-grid and grid solutions, rural schools, health facilities. I would be lucky to conclude this and going off. So I think we're looking at strengthening what we can do to ensure that we have stable power supply in the country. We also look forward to engaging with you to promote energy use, especially in areas of agriculture, industries to drive rural development. Then capacity building and local participation, ensuring that Rivers youths and local contractors are engaged in electrification projects or just started in Lagos State, and I would want to believe in that to other states of the. And of course, leveraging the federal and international more investment and innovation into our rural electrification. Our administration stands ready to provide the necessary support, coordination, and enabling environment for the successful implementation of your program. So for town hall meetings, rest assured that I have a delegation who will be ready to work with you to ensure of such engagements. So, conclusion, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, task of building a modern, secure, and economically vibrant river state requires strong partnerships. Rural Electrification Agency, with its vision and expertise, is a critical partner in realizing the energy infrastructure needed to unlock the full potentials of our rural communities. I want to thank you for your contribution so far, especially the ones you highlighted in the University of Port Harcourt and other areas. I want to thank you once again for your visit and for your commitment to Nigeria's electrification drive. I assure you that Rivers State will work closely with your agency to expand energy access, enhance rural livelihoods, and contribute meaningfully to our national goals. Please convey our warm regards to your board, management, and rural education staff for their outstanding work in such. Thank you and God bless.
We now invite the MD and CEO to